All right, Chairman Klitzing, you can take it away.
Good afternoon.
Uh,
The Board of Adjustment is now in session.
Wait, did I miss something?
Mr. Robinson, you have an appeal today.
Yes, I do. Oh, so I'm sorry. So I'm just trying to get an understanding.
Sure.
Uh,
So we have to have
do
somebody
we
else chair the meeting, but you will still
share the
be,
entire meeting, not just so I don't
yes,
recuse myself from just that item?
you will recuse yourself from that item, but
Sure.
yes, you are not considered then the chair for today.
Gotcha. Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks.
Sorry, Joe.
Good afternoon. Now, the Board of Adjustment is now in session. My name is Joe Klitzing, and I will be chairing today's meeting. Attending today's virtual meeting are board members Irene Saul, Mona Parsley, Mel DeSimone, and Anthony Robinson. Also in attendance for the city is Mary Hart Burton, zoning administrator for the city, Evan Winkler, community development planner for the city, and Catherine Neiman, zoning plan examiner, who will represent the city in the cases we are hearing today, and Ray Gutierrez, zoning specialist. Our attorney for the board is Archer Mellon. Our court reporter is Colin, didn't write down, Colin Wallace. Today we'll be hearing 7 cases. First, we'll hear from the city representative who will explain why the permit could not be issued. Next, we will hear from the applicant and or their representative of the project. Then we will hear from those in favor of the appeal and then from those opposed. Please be concise, as testimony will be limited to 3 minutes per person. When you come online via video or telephone, please wait to be sworn in by the court reporter, and please state your name and address. To ensure the proper records from our court reporter, we ask those online or on telephone to please remain on mute. Following testimony in all of today's cases, the board will go into its deliberative portion of the hearing, at which time we will vote on all cases heard. The board will notify each appellant and or representative of its decision by mail in about 2 weeks. You are welcome to remain during our deliberations. However, we will not hear additional testimony at that time. You may also call the lead zoning specialist, Dre, tomorrow at 314-622-3666 to learn the outcome of your appeal. Again, the number is 314-622-3666. Dre, would you please read appeal number 20562?
Appeal number 20562, 4770 South Spring Avenue, Unit 1.
Colin, Catherine will be doing the first 3 appeals today.
Okay. Can you raise your right hand? Let's see. You looks like you're muted actually.
We have to use one phone because we're in the same room.
Oh, okay. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Good afternoon, board members. My name is Catherine Neiman, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal of an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate a convenience store with 5% liquor sales, no cooking, at 4770 South Spring Avenue, Unit 1, also known as 4760 South Spring Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. Basis of denial for Dolce Picado Mexican Grocery Corporation concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate a convenience store at 4770 South Spring Avenue in city block number 4705 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is D, multiple family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of the property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential businesses and industrial areas, and regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are as follows. Section 2616010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. And section 26.32.020 and or section 26.32.025, regulations and conditional uses. Use and regulations and conditional uses of the D multiple family dwelling district do not allow this appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity. I will now read a letter from the Planning and Urban Design Agency from the City of St. Louis. The site is located within a neighborhood preservation area, also known as NPA, within the Strategic Land Use Plan. The NPA describes areas where the existing housing and corner commercial building stock will be preserved and augmented with new development that is physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. The granting of this appeal would be in keeping with the NPA's goal of encouraging commercial uses catering to the immediate needs of the neighborhood. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20562 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. So just to go back to the basis of denial, in summary, the petitioner is applying for a convenience store at this address in the D multiple family dwelling district. Convenience stores are not allowed in the D district, so a use variance from the Board of Adjustment will be required prior to approval of this application. Do any of the board members have any questions?
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Catherine. Is the owner or representative of the owner here in favor of the appeal?
Yaneth Hernandez, this is you guys. Can you unmute your phone? It's star. There you go. Can you say something and then we'll have you sworn in? Okay, great. We'll have Colin swear you in, okay?
Sir, do you solemnly swear that sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Did you hear me there, sir? Evan, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. They just went back on mute. Yaneth Hernandez, we need you to unmute your phone. And then the court reporter is trying to swear you in, just stating that you'll be telling the truth. It's *6 to unmute yourself. All right, Yaneth, can you hear us now? You're unmuted. Are you talking into the phone?
Yes.
All right, did you hear the court reporter's question?
No.
All right, he's going to swear you in, okay?
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Haven't done this in a while. Yaneth, tell us about your project.
We need their name and address. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, okay. I forgot. Yaneth, would you state your name and address, please?
Janet Gomez Hernandez, 8528 Jenny Drive, San Luis, Missouri, zip code 63121.
Okay, tell us about your project.
The project it was about opening a Mexican grocery store,
Hold
and
on. Who are you? We just swore
yeah,
in
I'm his
somebody
son.
else.
Yeah, he doesn't speak English, like
Oh, I don't
Oh,
speak
okay.
English.
yeah.
I'm
So
sorry.
trying to help him here. Yeah.
Okay, well, we need to
So
swear both of
basically,
you in if you're going to be a translator.
okay,
So if you're going to be translating, you need to be sworn in also. So, would you be sworn in, please?
okay,
And sir, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
yes.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Diego Armando Chavira Gomez,
Okay, and your
and the
address?
address is 8528 Jenny Drive, San Luis, Missouri,
Okay.
zip code 63121.
Would you and Eunice tell us about the project?
Okay, so the project it was about opening a Mexican grocery store, and we already had like every permit, but there was a problem with the zoning. They told us that the zone was like a
Clasificación familiar.
it was classified as family. Yeah, as family, but
Una plaza comercial.
the local is located at a commercial plaza. So we wanted to know if you could like change it, like if you could change the zoning of the local.
Well, is this the Speedway Market location?
The what?
Is this the Speedway Market location? Is that
Yeah.
We have pictures here, and it has a sign that says Speedway Market.
Mhm.
What would be the hours of operation?
¿Cuál es el-
¿Las qué?
cuál es el-
De 9 a 8 de la noche.
Yeah. 9 to 8 p.m. Like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay, 7 days a week?
Excepto domingo.
Just from Monday to Saturday.
Okay. How many employees?
5.
Okay. Evan, do we have standard conditions for convenience stores?
We do.
Like me to read them?
I forgot. Sorry, Catherine.
No, it's okay. Okay, so we do have standard conditions for convenience stores. First one, hours of operation shall be limited to what the applicant testifies from days of week through days of week. So you guys condition the hours and the day of operation. 2, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premise in a clean and orderly appearance. 3, there shall be no selling of liquor, alcohol, or non-intoxicating beer on the premise at any given time. 4, there shall be no cooking on the interior or exterior at any given time. 5, there shall be no sale of items that can be used for or intended for as drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances. And then it goes into including but not limited to various prohibited items that for sale. 6, there shall be no loitering, for which the petitioner must post a no loitering sign and enforce it. 7, there shall be no vending, ATM machines, or payphones on the exterior of the premise. 8, the petitioner must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting signage. Signage must be professionally prepared. 9, there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior or interior windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. 10, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premise for use by. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. 11, all windows and doors must have no boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind. Windows and doors may have proper blinds or curtains on the inside of the windows. 12, over-the-counter medication shall be sold packaging only and in accordance with all applicable laws. There shall be no sale of over-the-counter liquid medications in individual doses or servings. 13, there shall be no cord or rope type LED lighting surrounding or framing windows or doors. 14, the premise shall not be issued a public nuisance notice according to ordinance 68535 or its successor ordinances. Those are all 14 conditions for convenience stores.
Yaneth, is there any issues with any of those conditions that we can put on the your variance here? Do you have any issues with any of those?
No,
So you're not selling liquor, you're not going to do any cooking.
They are selling alcohol in their application.
Oh, okay. Well, then we'll edit that one when we get down to it. Anything else?
dile que solamente voy a vender cosas como paleta, nieve,
Yeah,
sándwich. Un frío no se cocina.
so about the cooking thing, like we could like things like ice cream and that it doesn't like apply like cooking, right?
Like frozen ice creams and things. No, that
Yeah.
does not apply to cooking. But you don't have any like cooking equipment, like hot plates and
Yeah.
air vents. No. Okay.
Okay.
That answer wasn't very clear, Evan.
On my end.
No, on his end.
Oh. So
I mean,
you don't
the
cook any.
definition of cooking for me would be to take ingredients, prepare them, fire them up, cook them, and then sell them. That's cooking. If you're in the process of making food to give to others, that's basically cooking, and that's not what we're looking at here. I don't think. I think we're looking at a convenience store that sells packaged food and liquor.
Correct. They applied for no cooking, so
Yeah.
we wouldn't be able to switch that out today.
Okay. Any board member have any questions?
Just talk to the older person of the neighborhood group. Joe.
Yeah. Yana, did you speak to the older person or the neighborhood association about in this location or this area?
Yes.
Did you get any approvals from them or any letter or anything like that?
Yes. ¿Es el contrato?
Would you happen to have a copy that you could email or text to us?
No, dile que solamente el contrato que firmé con ellos. Sí.
Okay, so what she's saying, she just have like the contract with that she signed with them, like with the owners of the commercial place.
Well, in other words, you got a contract with a landlord, correct? You don't have anything that you
Yeah.
express to the aldermen or to the neighborhood association.
¿Y si hacerlo con la asociación de vecinos? ¿Sí? No,
Es que,
she doesn't.
dile que los dueños de los locales de ahí son los dueños de los departamentos que están ahí a un lado. Ujú.
Con la asociación de vecinos.
Son ellos.
¿Qué no sabe?
No, dile que no.
No, she hasn't talked to them.
Oh, okay, we'll talk about that in deliberations. Any other questions from the board to the appellant?
No.
Sí.
Okay, well, is there anyone else in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone opposed to this appeal? Hearing none, I'd like to enter the following exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn map, and memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency, and I'll consider this case as having been heard. Catherine, would you please read appeal number, or no, Dre, can you read appeal number 11892?
Appeal number 11892, 2017 Shoto Avenue.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. So again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Catherine Neiman, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior alterations for a mixed-use building per plans at 2017 Shoto Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the city of St. Louis zoning ordinance. So the basis of denial for Malt House, courtesy of Rich Conyers, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to make interior alterations for a mixed-use building per plans at 2017 Shoto Avenue in city block number 2282 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone J, Industrial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are to, per section 26.16010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. And section 26.16.085 C1-2 bicycle parking requirements. Bicycle parking requirement racks shall be required in the city of St. Louis for the following actions: requiring issuance of a building permit, all new construction and renovations equal to or in excess of $1 million. Bicycle racks shall be provided in accordance with the following tables. When calculating the minimum number of bicycle racks required results in a fractional number, a fraction more than 1/2 shall be rounded to the next highest whole number. So for multiple unit residential, we refer you to the conversion chart. And for non-residential, we also refer you to the conversion chart. And section 26.56.020 and or 26.56.025 use regulations and conditional uses in the J Industrial District do not allow this petitioner's proposal as stated above. Lastly, section 26.56.030 loading regulations, parking for multiple dwelling and parking for places of assembly. The parking and loading regulations are the same for uses enumerated in chapters 26.20 through 26.50. Dwellings shall provide space in the main building, in an accessory building, or on the lot occupied by the main building sufficient to accommodate one motor car for each dwelling unit. Any arena, auditorium, meeting room, or other structure used principally as a place of public assembly shall provide parking space within 1,000 feet of the main building or structure sufficient to accommodate one parking space for every 3 seats based on maximum seating capacity, except as noted herein. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So, in summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to renovate an existing building which has previously been used as a banquet hall / event space, but will now include 17 dwelling units between floors 2 and 3, with updates to the event space throughout. The parcel is located within the J Industrial District, where no building shall be converted or reconstructed for dwelling purposes except where 40% or more of the frontage is occupied by dwellings. This is not the case, so therefore a use variance is required prior to approval. In addition, the J District requires 1 off-street parking space per dwelling unit and 1 per 3 seats in places of assembly, totaling 313 parking spaces for this project. Only 48 parking spaces are being provided, so 1 area variance is required for this shortfall. Lastly, projects over $1 million require 1 bicycle space for every 6 and 1 for every 10,000 square feet over the first 10,000 square feet. With 17 dwelling units and a total gross floor area of 57,459 square feet, 3 bicycle racks are required. None are being provided, so a second area variance is needed prior to approval. So again, as a reminder, 1 use variance and 2 area variances for parking and bicycle parking are required prior to approval. Next, I'll read a letter from the City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency. The site is located within a business industrial preservation area within the strategic land use plan. The business industrial preservation area designation describes areas where stable businesses currently exist and are encouraged to remain. The designation includes industrial and non-retail commercial uses where the location, condition of buildings, and the low level of vacancy warrant preservation and infill industrial development where possible. Thus, the granting of the proposed variance would not be in alignment with the strategic land use plan. The Design Downtown STL Neighborhood Plan, adopted as a supplement to the city's comprehensive plan in 2020, does not have a specific goal for the site, but the plan does seek more residential units and vibrant mix of uses across downtown and downtown west. The plan also identifies Choteau Avenue as a priority corridor for focusing on diversity of uses and businesses that face the street and increase walkability. The proposal will support these goals. Thus, the granting of the proposed variance would be in keeping with the neighborhood plan. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11892 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Do any of the board members have any questions?
Any board member have any questions? Is the owner or developer or main person?
All of the above, yes.
Okay, Rich, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Are you asking for the address of the building or my mailing address?
Where you can receive mail.
Okay, it's Rich Conyers at 342 Brightfield Drive. That's Baldwin, Missouri, 63021.
Okay, tell us about your project.
So a number of people are probably familiar with this building. It used to be and house the old Vindicet restaurant, as well as a number of event spaces. We are coming in after the fire that I think many people probably do know about, and bringing the building back to life. It was actually set for demolition prior to the purchase of it, and we are bringing in residential units as well as event space and other commercial spaces like a restaurant. So our intention is to provide a mixed use building in Lafayette Square area. So obviously this being downtown west, but based on geography, train tracks, et cetera, kind of leaning into the Lafayette side of things in terms of actual use. And what we're asking is basically that we're able to provide something that's better than it was in terms of what we're talking about based on code. So as was mentioned, we are trying to bring more residential units to the area in keeping with the city plan, providing more mixed use. We are also decreasing the number of required parking spaces. We do understand that the current code would make for a very, very, very large parking lot for any event space. And Evan and I have spoken about that, so I understand that that's kind of an outcome of how it's written currently. And we want to point to that this was an event space throughout the entire building, and we've actually taken some event away and added units, residential units, which would decrease the parking load pretty heavily. And so we do feel like we're making that better. We're also working with other groups on the hotel side and things like that for shuttling to reduce any kind of load in the area, even though it did operate that already. The other point to this is there's a discussion about the J Industrial District and it not allowing residential unless you meet a certain frontage. By the letter of the code, we do not meet that frontage because the only site on our block is the entirety of Ameren's campus. So there's not really a way that we could meet that. However, directly across the street, we have residential units. A crawl down that street. So we do think we meet the intent of that adjacency, just not the letter of the code. Regarding the bicycle parking, we actually do have bicycle parking on site. It was not shown on the architectural site plans. We're not asking for a variance for that. Evan, unless you tell me I have to ask for all of them, that's not something we need. We are fans of bike parking and people walking and biking around our city.
A point of clarity, because they weren't on the plans that were reviewed, and that's what the basis of denial was. You do and you are asking for that today. Although we appreciate that you're including bikes.
I will be, well, they actually already exist, but yes, I understand what you're saying. Okay, and then as far as the final statement I would make is we're here from St. Louis. We have an architecture office in Lafayette Square. We love the city and do a lot of historic renovation. This is something that we own and designed, and we're really, really happy to bring some of our old buildings back to life in the city.
But do you have commitments for the restaurant?
We do.
All of that? Okay.
We do. And we also have letters from the alder person, Kara Spencer, as well as the neighborhood commission, and all of that's been provided to Evan previously.
Yeah, we've got it in our packets. So, okay. What hours of operation would you have in the restaurant? Do you know?
So the restaurant would be dinner focused. So not unlike what Vindicet's hours were, it'll be down on the grade level of the building. But it will be, weekends, they may do brunches, but outside of that, it's largely going to be afternoon into evening. Their other restaurants do not open beyond 11 p.m. at any of their other locations, and I believe they're intending to stay with that plan.
Okay. So if we were to say something along the lines of restaurant limitations, 11 daily, 7 days a week, that would be fine if we did a condition on it?
I hate to misspeak because it's not my restaurant and we're the landlord in that particular case. So I don't know if that's something that's absolutely required. I think we're willing to discuss it or hear that. If they could have a typical allowance, and obviously there's bars associated with the building and events and things. So the building itself would typically be able to be open until 1 a.m. As kind of typical with other bars in the area. But I think the restaurant always closed, is my understanding, by 11 p.m.
Joe, and also just a point of clarity, the use variance is for residential purposes. Restaurants are used by right in the J district.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You didn't say that. Any other board member have any questions?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead, Mom.
You mean it, Mona?
Mona, yeah, you're muted. If you said
Oh,
the
sorry.
question, we didn't hear it. Go
Right.
ahead.
So the parking lot behind the building, is that part of yours?
No, so that was actually an agreement that was in place when the Hamiltons owned the building, and we've continued that conversation with US Paint as an overflow lot. There is a gate between the two parking lots, but because that's an external agreement and not part of the property, we weren't trying to use that as a justification for why we're still continuing to be able to operate.
Yet the event space had the use of that as well as all the restaurants and everything else that was there. So it's not really apples and apples.
We would have the same use that the Hamiltons had.
Do you have an agreement for that?
They neither party has had an agreement in the past or now. It's actually all stayed as very handshake and was done even with the creation of the gate and everything. It was all done kind of off book. We are attempting to formalize that agreement as well, but we have verbally discussed it, and we're told that there was no formal agreement previously either.
Will the residential units be awarded a parking altogether?
We are discussing that. So obviously there's a lot less parking required, given the fact that we're taking out event spaces that were there previously, mainly on the second floor. So we should have more parking available than we would have previously. And we are discussing about private spaces, but we have not executed that yet or decided to give residential patrons an individual space or a private space, so to speak, where they can rent that. We understand a lot of people in this area kind of live, work, and play in the area. Some of them will have cars, some won't. We anticipate the majority will, as it is St. Louis, but we're still evaluating that based on need.
It is a requirement for residential parking in the city?
Correct.
And you're familiar with that, Rich? And are you asking us to waive that requirement?
No, we had noted that the parking required for the event spaces of the building would have been well over 300 spaces and required a surface lot that was very, very, very large. We're acknowledging that we're reducing the requirement by adding the residential, but the residential units themselves are already taken care of within the surface lot to the east of the building.
Right, but what I heard you say was, we don't know if we're going to let them have that, though.
I
believe that we would probably require you to give a parking spot to the residential units because it is a requirement. You can't have it both ways, in my opinion. I mean, we will discuss this in deliberations.
Okay. So we're saying that a specified parking space, like a parking number, as opposed to providing enough parking for the units.
Right. You have to give a parking spot to the units.
Yeah, we have to provide enough parking to account for the units, correct? Does that need to be secured for the individual, or is that, or are we talking about kind of two different things?
I don't believe we're talking about two different things. You have 17 units, you need 17 parking spots. Does it have to be specific parking spots? I don't believe so, but they have to have 17 spots.
We have well over 17. Oh, go ahead, Evan. Sorry.
Yeah, so that he's here requesting a parking variance for the totality of the project, which includes both residential and event space. So potentially, I mean, this is something we should talk about in deliberations, but you could ask for condition.
I understand.
Okay.
Just to clarify, in case anyone didn't catch this, we do have about 30 spaces plus the street parking on site. So we're not asking a waive of any parking requirements, just that they be reduced down to what is already existing.
Thought you had 48 spaces.
Is it 48?
Did I mishear that, Evan?
Yeah, I think so. Let me double check here though.
So you have 30 spaces and 17 residential units that are there all the time, and you're going to not give it to them?
I guess a little bit confused on the direction of the question. So when we do multifamily projects, we have a lot of mixed use that is first come, first serve, and the residential spaces are based on code. If having specific spaces for our tenants is something that allows everybody to feel more comfortable, we're not opposed to that. That just wasn't something we were seeing as a requirement.
I'm glad you're not opposed to that. Thank you, Rich.
No problem.
Are there any other questions from the board?
Sorry about that, Joe. So Evan, are there 48 spaces or 30 spaces?
There are 48 spaces.
Okay.
I misspoke. I apologize.
Any other questions for Mr. Conyers from the board? Thank you, Mr. Conyers. Is there anyone opposed to this appeal? Seeing none, I'd like to enter the following exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, sandboard map, memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency, an owner statement for building permit issued with zoning hold, a letter of support from Dan Pister, chair of the DNA board of the Directors STL Downtown Neighborhood Association, and a letter of support from Alderwoman Kara Spencer. Now consider this case as having been heard. Dre, would you please read appeal number 11893?
Appeal number 11893, 3428 California Avenue.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so be it.
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Catherine Neiman, zoning plan examiner for the city of St. Louis, representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a commercial building, grocery market / convenience store with a second floor bar and rooftop patio per plans at 3428 California Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. Basis of denial of Fernando de la Torres concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to construct a commercial building, grocery market, convenience store with second floor bar and rooftop patio per plans at 3428 California Avenue, located in city block number 1569 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone B, two-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to fix reasonable standards to which buildings and structures shall conform. The applicable zoning code provisions are to, per section 26.08.104.1 convenience store, any grocery or retail establishment not exceeding 3,500 square feet, offering for sale a limited line of groceries and household items and prepared foods, usually for off-site consumption. Additionally, section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Additionally, section 26.16.020, structures prohibited. No structure shall be erected, placed, enlarged, or structurally altered unless such action shall make the premises upon which it shall stand conform to the regulations of the district in which the premises are located, unless authorized by other provisions of the zoning code. Section 26.16.080D, off-street parking and loading requirements. We will refer you to the conversion chart. Section 26.24.020 and or 26.24.025. Use regulations and conditional uses of the B two-family dwelling district do not allow this petitioner's proposal as stated above. Lastly, section 26.24.060, side yard. The side yard regulations are the same as those in the A single-family dwelling district, provided, however, that any structure having 2 or more dwelling units in the principal entrance of which opens upon a side yard and does not face an abutting street shall provide on each side of the building a side yard having a width of not less than 8 feet. There shall be provided a side yard of not less than 4 feet in width on each side of the building, and the total width of both side yards shall not be less than 10 feet. Provided, however, that lots of record prior to the effective date of this zoning code have a width of less than 40 feet, may reduce the total side yard width by the amount equal to 1/2 the difference between the width of such lot and 40 feet. But in no case shall either side yard be less than 3 feet in width. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So basically, in summary, the petitioner is applying for a building permit to construct a commercial building, which will include a grocery market / convenience store with a second-floor bar and rooftop patio on a vacant lot in the B two-family dwelling district. In the B district, grocery / convenience stores and bars are not permitted uses. Therefore, 2 use variances would be required prior to approval. In addition, the B district requires a side yard setback of at least 4 feet with a combined side yard total of at least 10 feet. There is an allowable reduction to 3 feet for lots of record. However, the proposed plans call for a 1-foot side yard setback on the northeast property line. No maintenance agreement was provided. Therefore, an area variance is required prior to approval. Lastly, a parking pad is being provided in the rear of the parcel. However, it is not striped according to the layout standards required for 90-degree parking. Therefore, a second area variance is required prior to approval. So again, just to sum it all up, that totals to 2 use variances and 2 area variances. And I will now read a letter from the St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency. The site is located within a neighborhood preservation area, also known as NPA, within the Strategic Land Use Plan. The NPA describes areas where the existing housing and commercial building stock will be preserved and augmented with new infill, residential, and corner commercial development physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. The site of the proposed commercial use is in the middle of a residential block. Thus, the granting of the proposed variance would not be in keeping with the Strategic Land Use Plan. The Gravois Jefferson Historic Neighborhood Plan has no specific goal for the site, but the plan does indicate that the land use should remain primarily residential and infill housing should be built on vacant residential parcels. Thus, the granting of the proposed variance would not be in keeping with the neighborhood plan. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11893 is not in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Do any of the board members have any questions?
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Catherine. Is the owner or a representative here that would like to testify?
Yes, I'm Alberto Garduno, and I'll be translating for Ramon Garduno.
Okay, would you be sworn in, each of you individually?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sirs, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Colin, was that for both of them or just one?
I can do both of them. Mr. Translator, do you solemnly
Yes,
swear
sir.
the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay.
Did you hear
Would
that?
each of you state your name and address, please?
My name is Alberto Garduno. My address is 30. Zip code is 63118.
And the name of the other person and their address?
My name is Ramon Garduno, and I live on 3426 California Avenue, 63118.
Okay, thank you for that. Well, guys, tell us about your project.
Okay, so he wants to build like a mini grocery store with a bar / rooftop or rooftop patio. And he is selling some alcohol and possibly like not both like food, more like sides and like snacks, and possibly like small foods like tacos.
Can I ask a question? Why did you select this location?
He said it's really close to Cherokee, which is a populated place, and he thinks this location would benefit him and others around.
Okay. Were you able to talk with the alderman or the neighborhood association about your plans?
We don't know who the alderman is in our neighborhood.
Okay. Any board member have any questions?
Joe, their alderperson is Alicia Sonier.
Yeah, it's on the tax record.
And I don't see why they couldn't.
And we are the Grand Valley Park Neighborhood Association where you live.
Hey.
Oh,
Wait,
hold it.
you haven't not been sworn in yet. So,
I apologize.
okay. So it's very easy. I went on the computer, I put Board of Alderperson, and I found it right away. So for you to tell me you didn't know who it was, it's not going to fly, okay? You could also go there, and there's neighborhood organizations they should have talked to first. So we need to have all that resolved before we go any further. But don't tell me you couldn't tell who the alderperson was. All you got to do is go on the computer and look it up.
Okay. Yeah, I just didn't know that was a thing, honestly. It's another person.
Okay.
Go ahead, Joe. I'm sorry.
Okay. Did you have a business plan that defined the hours of operation or anything like that?
Between 9 a.m. and 8 p.m.
7 days a week or?
Yes, sir.
We have standard conditions for convenience stores. Are you familiar with them?
Yeah.
Evan?
Sorry, can you repeat that again?
Or Catherine?
We have standard conditions that we put on convenience stores, and I can read them to you, and then you can let the board know if you have any issues with them, okay?
Okay.
So number one, the board can limit the hours of operations from said time to said time through said days a week depending on what you testify. 2, the petitioner shall provide a commercial dumpster and establish a trash removal contract through a private source for regular pickups and maintain the entire premise in a clean and orderly appearance at all times. 3, there shall be no selling of liquor, alcohol, or non-intoxicating beer on the premise at any given times. 4, there shall be no cooking on the interior or exterior of the premise at any given time. 5, there shall be no sale of items that can be used or intended for as drug paraphernalia as defined in Ordinance 68404 or its successor ordinances, included but not limited to, and then it lists out those items. 6, there shall be no loitering for which the petitioner must post a no loitering sign and enforce it. 7, there shall be no vending ATM machines or payphones on the exterior of the premise at any given time. 8, the petitioner must apply for and receive a permit from the City of St. Louis Building Division before posting signage, and the signage must be professionally prepared and approved by the Office of the Zoning Administrator before being installed. 9, there shall be no temporary signage on the premise or posted to the exterior or interior of the windows or doors of the establishment at any given time. 10, the petitioner shall provide a refuse container on the exterior of the premise for use by the customers. If another container is needed due to the level of business, it shall also be provided. 11, all windows and doors must have no boards, mesh, grates, materials, or coverings of any kind. Windows and doors may have proper blinds or curtains on the inside of the windows. 12, over-the-counter medications shall be sold in original packaging only and in accordance with all applicable laws. There shall be no sale of over-the-counter liquid medications in individual doses or servings. 13, there shall be no cord or rope-type LED lighting surrounding or framing windows or doors. And lastly, 14, the premise shall not be issued a public nuisance notice according to Ordinance 68535 or its successor ordinances.
So if you want to,
go ahead.
Sorry. So if you want to build the convenience store with a bar, you say you wouldn't be able to sell alcohol?
Well, you have to get a liquor license and you have a whole process to go through on that. Right now, we're just trying to determine the zoning application and whether or not it even fits into this location.
Eduardo, these are
Okay.
just standard conditions that are often applied to a variance. So if the board decides to
Okay.
grant you the variances, they sometimes will condition it with these additional kind of precautions, because what you're asking for is not a permitted use in your zoning district.
Okay. Got it. And
Any
so
other-
I have a question. You said I should contact what's it called again? What the neighborhood
Neighborhood
There's a neighborhood
association.
association. Yep. And I think they're here
Association?
today, so we might hear from them and we can get you their contact.
Okay.
Also, there's an alderperson who's like the elected official.
Okay, an older person. Got it. All right. So is there anything else we can do right now? Or would we need to make another appointment?
Well, we need to hear the rest of today's testimony. This is considered a public hearing for the community. So
Okay.
we'll get to that. And then later on, the board will deliberate. And you
All
can
right.
stay and listen, or you can call us tomorrow. But you should
Got
stay
it.
on right now while we still hear testimony.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for your testimony. Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone in opposition to this appeal?
Yes.
Okay, you're both on one device. We'll swear you in individually and you speak one at a time, not together, okay?
Okay.
Because that helps our record, for the record. That's all I'm looking for. Okay, thank you. Colin, would you swear him in?
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
My name's Larry Atherton. I live at 3500 block. You need the whole address?
Yeah, if you want to receive mail. Yeah.
All right. 3530 Tennessee, St. Louis, Missouri, 63118. Also, I'm the vice president of Gravois Park Association.
Okay. Would you you want to testify first, or would you like Kristen to? Or
You
Kirsten?
let her go. You let her go first.
Okay. Kirsten, would we swear you in, please?
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I swear.
Okay, would you state your name and address, Kirsten?
Kirsten, Kirsten Petty, 3505 Nebraska Avenue, 63118.
Okay.
Also the Sergeant at Arms of Gravity Park Neighborhood Association.
Okay. I guess you were nominated to speak first, Kirsten. So
I see that.
tell us
Hello.
about your objections.
Well, first we were notified that the intent of doing this building on a vacant lot in between two houses. We do not want that to occur because, now we just realized that, the owner who lives next door, but we don't know about the other neighbor on the other side, if they want or desire to have, a business and a rooftop bar next to their house. It's very untraditional to even have this type of establishment in the middle of a block, which is what this is. There are several vacant buildings right now on Cherokee Street that they can, rent out, or if they want to purchase, there are several that are available. But for the most part, we want to keep our residential sections of the street residents and not, a business that would be frequently or may attract a crowd or loudness. And our alleys are narrow enough. I don't know if they can even, bring a commercial dumpster to that part of the street. It's in the center of the block, not on the edge like the other businesses.
Okay, any board member have any questions? Anything else you'd like to add, Kirsten?
I understand Alberto is a translator in this situation, so he may not personally know the people he needed to contact, but we are here. We've been here over 20 years. A simple Google search of what neighborhood you're in will tell you that, we're approachable. So, and I can send him if he has a supply an email, I can email all the relevant information to contact us.
Could you put your relevant information on our chat?
In the chat, that's fine. Thank you.
Yeah,
I'll connect you both.
Well, okay. Thanks, Evan.
If you can put your email in the chat, Kirsten. Thank you.
Thank you, Kirsten. I forgot your name. Would you like
Larry.
to testify?
Yeah, Larry.
Larry, go ahead. Tell us about what your concerns are.
Yeah, my concern is putting that bar or whatever they was wanting to put in a store in between two buildings. And not only that, it is a historic area. I don't even know how they come up with the idea to put something like that in the middle of the block. And it just ain't gonna look good there. And ain't gonna help nobody. That's the way I look at it.
Okay. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone
welcome.
else in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I'd like to enter the following exhibits. A certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letters, City Journal public notices, photographs, a Sanborn map, and memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency. And I'll consider this case to have been heard. Catherine or Evan, would you please read appeal number, or Dre, would you please read appeal number 11928?
Appeal number 11928, 543 Maryland Avenue.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. All right, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, and I'll be representing the building commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to make interior and exterior alterations of a carriage house per plans at 4523 Maryland Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. The basis for denial of Kara Lewis concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit authorizing the petitioner to make interior and exterior alterations for a carriage house per plans at 4523 Maryland Avenue in city block number 3895.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Zone A, Single Family Dwelling District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.08.115 dwelling unit, a room or group of rooms with cooking and sanitary facilities occupied or arranged for occupancy by a single family. Also section 26.08.120 dwelling single family, a building containing one dwelling unit. Section 26.16.020 structures prohibited. No structure shall be erected, placed, enlarged, or structurally altered unless such action shall make the premises upon which it shall stand conform to the regulations of the district in which the premises are located, unless authorized by the provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.20.060 front yard. When 25% of any frontage within the district is improved with dwellings and the majority of such improved frontage has an observed front yard line with a variation in depth of not more than 6 feet, no building hereafter constructed shall project beyond the average front yard line so established, except that in no event shall the front yard line be greater than 50 feet. In all other cases, there should be a front yard line of not less than 25 feet. Through lots shall have a front yard on each street in accordance with this section. On corner lots, the frontage shall be on that side of the street on which the interior lots have been platted. No accessory building shall project beyond such front yard line. Also, section 26.20.080 rear yard. There shall be a rear yard of not less than 25 feet in depth. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. So in summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to convert an existing carriage house into a dwelling unit located in the A district. The dwelling will have a 2-car garage on the ground floor, and then the second floor will be living area with a kitchen, full bath, laundry, and bedroom. Single-family dwellings are permitted use in the A district. However, this single-family dwelling, which is also a carriage house, does not meet all of the area requirements. Therefore, 2 area variances are required. One for the front yard setback, which shall not vary more than 6 feet from the average, which is approximately 30 feet. And the front yard setback of the carriage house is 181.69 feet from the front property line. And then the second area variance is for the rear yard setback. In the A district, you need a rear yard of 25 feet. However, the cottage house or the future dwelling unit is only about 5 feet from the rear property. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency says that there's no neighborhood plan for this area. However, it's located in the neighborhood preservation area of the strategic land use plan. And neighborhood preservation areas are areas where the existing housing and corner commercial stock will be preserved and augmented with new development that's physically integrated with and primarily serving the immediate neighborhood. Granting of this appeal would be in keeping with the goal of the neighborhood preservation area, encouraging physically integrated new housing. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 11928 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Evan. Is there anyone here in favor of this appeal? Mr. Robinson? Oh.
Yes.
Anthony, did you recuse yourself?
Well, I don't think we've gotten to a point to do that, but I am actually speaking on behalf of the owner for this project. So I will recuse myself when we go into deliberation on the project.
Waiting for Evan. I think he's going to have a
It's
statement.
not until deliberations that we have to formally recuse him. So here you
okay.
just call upon him to give his testimony.
That's fine. Anthony, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Now, I know this is a very confusing process for you. You've never done this before. So do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Yes. Anthony Robinson, 4246 McPherson Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63108.
Okay. Tell us about your project.
Okay, so we've got an existing carriage house. Obviously, in the Central West End, you will find many carriage houses that would not conform to the zoning requirements. Obviously, they're at the rear, so they don't meet front yard setbacks, and because they're also at the rear, they don't meet rear yard setbacks. But it is in keeping with what's existing. So we're basically just trying to get the space inhabitable. And yeah, that's it.
So Anthony, there was a residential component to this building before you got a hold of it?
Yes, so this has been a carriage house since it was built. It did not have a kitchen, and I think that was what Evan brought up, that was one of the reasons why we needed to come before the board.
And they're done that. Any other board member have any questions? Thank you, Anthony. Is there anyone else here in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone here opposed to this appeal? Hearing none, I'd like to enter the following exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance, appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letters, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn map, and memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency. And I'll consider this case as having been heard. Evan or Dre, gosh, keep doing that. Would you read appeal number 11837?
1837, 1301 Kentucky Avenue.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to construct a new home per plans, zoning only at 1301 Kentucky Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. This case was originally heard on May 15th, 2024. At that time, Chairman Klitze made a motion to table appeal number 11837 for up to 60 days per Alderman Michael Browning's request to allow the petitioners to submit their plans and meet with the Development Review Committee of Forest Park Southeast. Board Member Robinson seconded the motion. The motion was passed by unanimous vote of the board, and the hearing was rescheduled for a later date, which is today. The basis for denial of AS Homes, care of Mark Assad, concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue a building permit, authorizing the petitioner to construct a new home per plan zoning only at 1301 Kentucky Avenue, located in city block number 3991.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is Neighborhood General Type 2, the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based District, and underlying Zone B, two-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis, and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. The applicable zoning code provisions are ordinance 70732. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for a building permit to construct a single-family home. It's located in the Forest Park Southeast Form-Based Code. Therefore, the Neighborhood General Type 2 regulations apply. Let's see. In total, there will be 6 area variances and 1 use variance. The first area variance, side street setback is required to be between 10 feet minimum and 20 feet maximum. This single family home, though, will have a side street setback of 20.04 feet, which is actually beyond the maximum allowable. The second area variance is the form of the building must span at least 80% of the width of the property. This single family home is just 18 feet wide, spanning 72% of the width of this 25-foot wide lot. A third area variance is required for a finished ground floor level of a building, which must be at least 1 foot above grade from the back of the sidewalk, but no higher than 4 feet above grade. The finished ground floor level will be 4 feet 2 inches above grade, slightly higher than the maximum allowed. Another area variance is required for the first floor to ceiling height, which must be at least 12 feet. However, the first floor to ceiling height of this proposal is 9 feet and 1 inch. And then another area variance is required for secondary building facades. Any facade on a side setback must have a minimum of 1 vertical plane break located at a distance greater than 25% of the distance from the front facade of the building towards the rear of the facade, which should be coordinated with a change from primary material to a secondary material. However, this vertical plane break on the secondary facade, there's a vertical plane break on the secondary facade along the north and south sides of the building, coordinated with the change of material from brick veneer to vinyl siding, but the vertical plane break is not at a distance that is greater than 25% from the front to the rear. In this case, it's only 12 feet. The plane breaks occur on the side facades just 2 feet from the building. Therefore, 2 area variances required, 1 for each side. And then another area variance on secondary building facades, one must use primary materials, secondary materials, and accent materials compatible with the primary building facades. The conversion from primary to secondary materials must occur in accordance with the plane breaks required for that building type, as shown in section 4.3.1.b plane breaks. The petitioner, however, proposes to use vinyl siding on the north and south sides of the building. Hardy plank siding or equivalent should be used instead of vinyl, as vinyl is not compatible with the primary building materials allowed, and that requires a use variance. So, the City of St. Louis Plan and Urban Design Agency states that a neighborhood plan has not been adopted for this area. It is in the neighborhood preservation area, though, of the strategic land use plan. Again, these are areas where existing housing and corner commercial building stock is to be preserved and augmented with new infill that's sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of Appeal 11837 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. This applicant has actually converted the application to a full route and received support from the neighborhood and the alderman and signed a zoning hold waiver. Are there any questions from the board?
Does the board have any questions? Thank you, Evan. Is anybody from 4U Property Management here? Or is that
Yes. Right here, both of us.
Okay, one at a time. Would you be sworn in first, please?
I guess
Joe,
Mr.
Joe, which
Yeah, we're on 1301.
one are we?
Guys.
That's Mark Assad's.
Okay, is Mark Assad here?
Sorry, guys.
I'm right here.
Okay, Mark, would you be sworn in first, please?
Absolutely.
Can you raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Mark Assad, I'm with ASA Homes, address 1336 Magnolia Manor Court, St. Peters, Missouri, 63303.
Okay, tell us about your project.
So I'm building a single family home in Forest Park. I'm basically asking for these variances. This street's a specific street, a little different than your typical Grove builds. Examples on that same street of what's been built. I actually built the exact home across the street at 1138 Kentucky Avenue. I mean, if you have any questions for me of why I'm asking for certain variances, I'm more than happy to answer them for you.
Any board member have any questions on specific issues? What, give us some thoughts on why you're needing all of these. Give us a little more description than what you're asking. I mean, Evan just went through the list. Mary.
Oh, no.
Hold on a second. Mary, you got a question or statement?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, thank you. It's more for Mr. Assad. Mr. Assad, I think the idea when you come before the Board of Adjustment is you need to present a case to the board as to why you have a practical difficulty or an unnecessary hardship.
Okay, I mean, I'm just replicating based off model examples of what I've built on that same street, in terms of the having a 12-foot first floor minimum would tower over the other houses in the neighborhood. So that's why I'm asking for that. In terms of secondary building facades here, 3 other houses that I built on that same street, it's a small street, all have 2-foot returns on the brick. So I'm doing the same since the houses are so close together. You don't see that. You don't see a return that equals 25% of the distance. And same thing with everything that have been built in that street is vinyl siding on the sides. So I'm kind of just going off of the model examples of what's been built out there on the street.
Any board member have any questions?
Did the model examples all use vinyl siding?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, it does. 1138 Kentucky Avenue, which was approved last year, is vinyl siding, and the 2 other houses that I emailed you guys about 4 or 5 houses down, one built on one side of the street on the same side as 1138, and the other one 4 or 5 houses down, built right directly across the street on the same side as 1301 Kentucky, all have a 2-foot brick return with vinyl siding.
Did you meet with Michael Browning or the neighborhood association park?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I met with Abdul and sat with other neighbors that live on that same street that I know, and they were all for it, that I'm replicating the same thing. The only thing that they were concerned with, and I believe you may have it in front of you, is when I built 1138 Kentucky Avenue, it was a very plain house in terms of the front. So I made changes on 1301 and put more design into the, a better looking cornice on detail on the parapet wall to give it more of that historical look.
Okay.
Other than that, there was not really any disputes or anything like that in terms of what I'm doing, since it's the same thing as the house across the street. just that they wanted to, they would have rather had a more of a historical design in the cornice of the parapet wall, which I did add that.
Very good. Thank you.
Oh, no problem.
Any other questions from any of the board members? Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone opposed to this appeal? Evan, would you do me a favor?
Yep.
Would you read the exhibits for me? I don't have that page and I can't get it up on my system here. So
Yeah, just a
would you
second.
read? Thank you.
All right, so Exhibit A, certified copy of the zoning ordinance. Exhibit B, appeal to the board. Exhibit C, basis for denial. Exhibit D, meeting notice letter. Exhibit E, City Journal public notices. Exhibit F, photographs. Exhibit G, Sanborn maps. Exhibit H, memo from Planning and Urban Design. Exhibit I, Cultural Resources Office review, signed by Bob Bettis. Exhibit J, copy of the proceedings from May 15th, 2024. Exhibit K, revised basis for denial, dated November 21st, 2024. Exhibit L, meeting notice letter for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit M, City Journal public notices for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit N, photographs for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit O, Sanborn maps for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit P, memo from Planning and Urban Design for January 8, 2025. Exhibit Q, revised Cultural Resource Office review dated November 19, 2024, signed by Bob Bettis. Exhibit R, an owner statement for a building permit issued with zoning hold. Exhibit S, letter of support from Alderman Michael Browning. Exhibit T, letter of support from Abdul Kaba Abdullah, Executive Director of Park Central Development. Exhibit U, 3 model example pictures submitted by the petitioner.
And we'll consider this case as having been heard. Dre, would you please read appeal number 20453?
Appeal number 20453, 6984 Chippewa Street.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
I do. Again, good afternoon, board members. My name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a warehouse and office space with inside and outside storage of tools, construction materials, and tractors at 6984 Chippewa Street. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. This case was originally heard on March 8th, 2023. At which time Board Member Desimone made a motion to table appeal number 20453 for up to 60 days to allow the petitioner to meet with the Neighborhood Association and the Alderman. Chairman Klitzing seconded the motion. The motion was passed by unanimous vote of the board. The appeal was rescheduled for a later date, which is today. The basis for denial of 4U property management concerning the Building Commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit authorizing the petitioner to operate a warehouse with office space at 6984 Chippewa Street and City Block number 6277.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is F, Neighborhood Commercial District. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to promote orderly and beneficial development in accordance with the optimum development of the City of St. Louis and in furtherance of the comprehensive plan for the city's development. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure land shall be used for use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also section 26.40.020S, use regulations and conditional use summary, section 26.40.020 and/or 26.40.025. Use regulations and conditional uses of the F Neighborhood Commercial District do not allow this appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant is applying for an occupancy permit to operate a warehouse, an office with inside and outside storage located in the F district for their business, which is doing business as 4U Property Management. And in the F district, warehousing and inside storage requires conditional use approval. Additionally, outside storage is not permitted in the F district. Therefore, a use variance is also required. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency says that a neighborhood plan has not yet been adopted for this area. However, the site's located within the neighborhood commercial area of the strategic land use plan. The strategic land use plan, though, does not address storage or associated site design issues. Therefore, the request is not applicable to the strategic land use plan. And planning staff finds request of appeal number 20453 is not applicable to the city's comprehensive. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Evan. Is there anyone here in favor of this appeal?
Now, Brandon, it's you. Brandon.
Oh,
Oh, Brandon.
yes,
Brandon, would you be sworn in first, please?
yes,
Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you?
yes.
Would you state your name and address, please?
My name is Brandon Caligari. My address is 5850 Moran Avenue, zip code 63109.
Okay. Is the person that's with you going to testify also?
Yes,
Okay, let's get him sworn in at the same time here. But I want you to speak individually, not together, okay?
of course. Yes.
So, would you be sworn in? Go ahead, Colin.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give you the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Aladan Caligari, 3134 Garden Hill, St. Louis, Missouri, 63139.
Thank you. Brandon, would you tell us about your project?
Well, I wouldn't even consider it a project because we have taken everything out of the lot that was even brought up in the first place. As it says in the letter of support that we got from the neighborhood association, they only saw a dumpster. And this letter was back from October 25th, 2023. Yesterday, I did send evidence that the dumpster and shipping containers are all gone. There is nothing back there of any construction use. It is just a parking lot. And I misspoke about the letter. They said a container. There is no container back there anymore. And we do not even plan to bring it back, even if the letter says it's okay with it. We just are using it as a parking lot. And that we thought after we got that letter, everything was all right because the alderman told us after it got postponed to contact the neighborhood committee. And yeah, that's about it. We are not planning on putting anything outside or like tractors or anything like that of that nature. It's just a regular old parking lot. So I don't know if we need an appeal for that or anything of that nature, rather than, as you can see in the evidence that I sent, that there's nothing there anymore. That's about it for the outside stuff. Are there any questions for me?
If you got it all out, I don't know what questions anybody could have. Any board member have any questions?
You do need a dumpster.
I was going to ask about that.
We're not disposing any waste in the parking lot at all to even need a dumpster.
But do you have a dumpster available to to your business that you have there?
Well, yes, it's like the dumpster I'm talking about is like a Beck disposal dumpster is what people were complaining about. And that's why we just chose to get rid of it.
So you're not talking about a regular dumpster. You're talking about like a big 40-yard dumpster or something like that. You get rid of that.
Yeah,
You just
correct, correct. Sorry, I misspoke.
Okay. Thanks
Brandon,
for the clarification.
For the record, do you mind just explaining what your business is so that everybody on the call understands?
It is a property management company. And real estate. So the real estate aspect sells homes and works with buyers and clients. And the property management aspect is we take on clients to manage their properties and handle and maintenance to handle all things at those properties, though, not here like maintenance and stuff like that.
Thank you.
Okay, any board members have any questions? What would be well, it doesn't really matter. We're talking about a parking lot, so we're really not talking about anything that has anything to do with hours of operation or anything, do we?
Well, I mean, yes, kind of. So inside storage warehousing is a conditional use in this district. So it would be good to talk about these things.
Okay.
Okay.
What would be your hours of operation?
Well, we work from Monday till Friday. We work from 7 a.m. We open the office till 5:30 to 6 o'clock. And then Saturday, we work from 7 till 2 o'clock. And then Sunday from 7 till 2 o'clock as well. But there is like office is open. It's not that is any activity going at the building.
Explain that to me. There's offices in the building, they'll still be operating? Other
Well,
than
no,
those hours that you indicated?
No, that's all. That's all we got, yeah.
Okay. Any board members have any questions about that? How many employees will be on the site?
Well, on Monday through Friday on site will be 4 people or 5. And then on the weekends, mostly it's 2 people.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions?
Yeah, I do. Just for clarity on the record. So what kinds of things do you store inside?
Well, inside we have half of the office is offices, and then the back of the office we have like tools that we use, like small kind of tools, and then we have the only thing it is like paints that we keep, and then if it's from a project, if it's for example tiles, then we'll bring whatever is left over at the office.
Yeah, so no like large commercial tools or anything like that.
And then you've testified today there's no outside storage currently. You're not going to be storing anything outside?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Anybody else have any questions? Okay, is there anyone in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none, I'd like to enter the following exhibits. Certified copy of the zoning ordinance. Appeal to the board, basis for denial, meeting notice letter, City Journal public notices, photographs, Sanborn map, memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency, additional maps submitted by Evan Winkler, zoning plan examiner, report submitted by building inspector, copy of the proceedings from March 8th, 2023, meeting notice letter for January 8th, 2025, City Journal public notices for January 8th, 2025. Photographs for January 8th, 2025. Sanborn maps for January 8th, 2025. Memo from Planning and Urban Design Agency for January 8th, 2025. Letter of support dated October 25th, 2023 from Carol Wilson and Brad Ortega, St. Louis Hills Neighborhood Association Business Committee co-chairpersons. 4 photos submitted by petitioner. Email dated November 20th, 2023 from Greg Gutierrez, zoning specialist, to petitioner asking if they have received information requested by the board on March 8th, 2023. Email dated February 2nd, 2024 from Greg Gutierrez, zoning specialist, to petitioner notifying them it is past their time to submit requested information. And I'll consider this case as having been heard. Dre, would you please read appeal number 20526?
Appeal number 20526, 5501 Bartmer Avenue.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. Again, my name is Evan Winkler, Community Development Planner for the City of St. Louis, representing the Building Commissioner. I'm here to present evidence of an appeal to operate a law office at 5501 Bartmer Avenue. I'd like to present as evidence for this case photos and aerials of the said property, plans for the project, and a certified copy of the City of St. Louis zoning ordinance. This case was originally heard on May 15, 2024. At that time, Chairman Klitzing made a motion to table appeal number 20526 for up to 60 days to allow the petitioner to meet with the neighborhood. Board member Hitt seconded the motion. The motion was passed by unanimous vote of the board. The hearing will be rescheduled for a later date, which is today. The basis for denial of Gerald T. Christmas doing business as the law office of Gerald Christmas concerning the building commissioner's refusal to issue an occupancy permit, authorizing the petitioner to operate an office at 5501 Bartmer Avenue in city block number 3810.00 is as follows. The present zoning for this address is B, 2-family dwelling district. The intent of the applicable zoning provisions are to conserve the values of property throughout the city of St. Louis and protect the character and stability of residential, business, and industrial areas. It's also to regulate and restrict the location and use of buildings, structures, and land for trade, industry, residence, and other uses, and to regulate and restrict the intensity of such uses. The applicable zoning code provisions are section 26.16.010, uses prohibited. No structure or land shall be used for a use other than those permitted in the district in which such premises are located, unless such use is permitted by other provisions of the zoning code. Also, section 26.24.020S, use regulations and conditional use summary, section 26.24.020 and or 26.24.025. Use regulations and conditional uses of the B, 2-family dwelling district do not allow the appellant's proposal as stated above. Evidence of lawful nonconformity has not been presented. In summary, the applicant applied for an occupancy permit to operate a law office in the B, 2-family dwelling district, where professional offices are not a permitted use, and therefore a use variance would be required prior to approval. The City of St. Louis Planning and Urban Design Agency states that this is in the We Collab neighborhood plan. In addition, it's in the neighborhood preservation area of the strategic land use plan, again, which describes areas of existing housing and corner commercial building stock to be preserved and augmented with new infill. The granting of this variance would be in keeping with the neighborhood preservation area's intent to promote infill that is sensitive to the character of the neighborhood. The We Collab neighborhood plan does not specifically address this site, but recommended
I thought you were outside or something.
The We Collab neighborhood plan does not specifically address the site, but recommended redesignation of the site as institutional preservation and development area to recognize the institutional ownership of this site. Therefore, planning staff finds the request of appeal number 20526 is in keeping with the city's comprehensive plan. Are there any questions for me from the board?
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Evan. Is there an owner or representative for the Christmas Law Firm here?
Yes, this is Attorney Gerald Christmas. How are you?
Okay. Gerald, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Gerald Christmas, 6101 Delmar Boulevard, St. Louis, Missouri, 63112.
Okay. Tell us about your project.
Well, we learned about this house. We were looking to move from our current location and find a new location. We also observed that there were no other professional legal offices in North St. Louis. And we thought it would be an asset to move our office and stay centered in the community for the number of clients that we serve that are from that community. When we had our last hearing, we had some neighbors that were opposed to us moving a law office in that location, indicating that they thought it might bring more crime to the area, although there were no information or details to support that a law office brings more crime to an area. Most of the information that we have discovered shows that a law office enhances the value of the neighborhood. So what we did in between the last hearing is that we did hold 2 community meetings with the neighborhood at the church, Union Memorial, UMC Church, who is the owner of the building, who we would be renting for. And I thought those were 2 successful meetings. I attended the first meeting, but not the second meeting. I have 2 other attorneys that I work in collaboration with, Donnell Smith and Felicia Ezel Gillespie, and they were at the second meeting. I also know that the church canvassed the neighborhood and also took a petition for neighbors to sign. And so that pretty much sums up what the scope of our project is and what we did in between the last 2 hearings to try to make better communication with the residents of the area.
Did you receive a support letter from the neighborhood after you met with them?
We have a support letter from the Federation of Block Units, and the alderwoman told me that she was going to submit a letter. I don't have a copy of it, and I'm not sure if she submitted it, but she did tell me that she would submit one. I told her that this hearing was coming up on this date. And she's always been in support of us through the whole process.
Okay. What would be your hours of operation?
Hours of operation would probably be from 9 to 6 p.m.
7 days a week or?
5 days a week, Monday through Friday.
Okay. How many employees would you have at the location?
We have 4 employees at the location and then the 3 attorneys.
Okay, so a total of 7 there.
Yeah.
You got a commercial trash dumpster?
We'd have to get one. That was one of the requirements.
Okay. Anybody else have any other board member have any questions? Thank you. Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal?
Over 800 of those will come from just St. Louis County. Wow.
Maxine McKinney.
Yes. Good afternoon, everyone.
Maxine, hold on. You need to be sworn in first, please.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
So help me God. Yes.
Okay. Would you state your name and address for me, please?
My name is Maxine McKinney, MC capital Kinney. My address is 5910 Minerva Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63112.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
I would just like to say that my family has been a resident in this area for going on 65. I'm a member of Union Memorial United Methodist Church for 62 years. And I feel that having that law office there would be an asset to our community. And when we talk about crime in the neighborhood because of a law office, then we should seek out the crime or anything that's happened in the neighborhood with other businesses that are in that vicinity. So I would be for having that law office there. I think it would be an asset. I think we need that type of business within our community because it is either going to Clayton to take care of business. That's my wording.
Thank you. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Maxine. Next, I'd like to talk to Jamal Mitchell. Would you unmute yourself, Jamal?
Yes, sir.
Would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name and address, please?
My name is Jamal Mitchell. I live at 5950 Floyd Avenue in St. Louis, Missouri.
Okay. Tell us about what your support is.
I believe in this primarily for the reason that isn't supporting an actual law firm that helps families an extension of serving the community. I know that St. Louis can get a bad rap at times in reference to a lot of the things that go on and in reference to us trying to hold other people accountable to fix issues that we can resolve ourselves. And when you think about a law firm that's going to serve the community, it puts our community in a position to where they can come in and actually get knowledge. Oftentimes, research has shown that people get arrested for things if they just simply would have talked to an attorney or a lawyer about, would have prevented them from going to jail and preventing them being in a situation where their family and other members of the community end up take up for issues that they shouldn't have happened. So I look at it like we have an opportunity to put something in the community that will benefit not only the people in the community from an educational perspective, but will also, I believe, actually increase the value of the community. Because if law offices are moving into your community, that shows to the outside public that these are places that are constructively making steps towards being more progressive in reference to ensuring that the community and the community's concerns are being answered. And so I'm for it for the simple fact that it's a solution to a problem that exists. And when you have people going forth to serve the people that look like them in the neighborhoods that they represent, I don't see how it could be, I don't see how it couldn't be beneficial.
Okay. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Next, I'd like to take on Josh, please. Josh, will you be sworn in first, please?
Sure.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Joshua Steigers, 5467 Maple Avenue, 63112.
What would you like to tell us?
We live just past the church off of Belt as the back of our house. So we drive by and use Belt driving right by 5501 Bartmer daily. Whenever the church has activities or whenever there's occupied stuff going on down there, there's a lot less crime. There's a lot less prostitution, people sitting on our block smoking and doing things that they shouldn't because we live on a cul-de-sac. It's kind of the easy access off a page. And so nobody thinks to, that's where people think to come and do their dirt. But oftentimes whenever the church is having activities, there's no illicit activity because there's people there. That house has been vacant for a long time at 5501 Bartmer, and it needs to be occupied. The attorneys that are interested in renting it are upstanding members of the community. They have a great practice, and I find that it would be just beneficial to have them there, and the church, the house to be occupied. So that's all. Thank you.
Okay. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Josh. Next, I'll take Reverend Settles, if that's possible. Reverend, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes. Can you raise your right hand, sir? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
Yes, I will.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Reverend Dr. Antonio Settles, 1141 Belt, St. Louis, Missouri, 63112.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Yeah, I would like to say that upon canvassing the neighborhood, we petitioned, got names from people, over 28 people that was very much for this, and we received letters in support from neighborhood folks that were living in the neighborhood, that live in the neighborhood. And I would just like to say that I am in favor for this because not only will it connect the community to a better way of understanding and what's going on in that community with the law firm, but it will also invite the law firm to share information, valuable information among the community, to educate them and to keep them abreast of what's going on, to keep people out of trouble. And the law firm has already said to us that they would be open to have workshops and conversations. And we're just wanting to rebuild this community, to revitalize this community, because the community is very, very important to all of us.
Okay. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Reverend. Next, I'd like to take Robin Browning. Chester, I'll get to you in a little bit, okay? Robin, would you be sworn in first, please? Other hand. There you go. Thank you.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Robin Browning. I'm at 304 Eldridge Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63119.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
I am a member of Union Memorial United Methodist Church, and I am in support of law firm coming into the neighborhood. I do know from our neighbors that they did have concerns about traffic, but to really assuage them about that is that with the law firm, it is basically appointment based. When having a law firm, this type of business coming in, this is the type of business that you would like to have because it is appointment based, and you won't have as many people coming in and out, in and out, in and out with traffic. And your attorneys are many times in court, or they're meeting their clients elsewhere. Or when the clients are coming, they aren't coming back to back to back to back like that. There's a lot of more so that they're doing work on the outside instead of the inside. There was also concerns about parking. We do have parking on our lot. We have parking in front of our parsonage that would be their property too. They have parking as well on site too. We have parking at another building that we own as on Bartmer too that could be of use. So there are plenty of places that would be available for folks to their clients, and if they need to have it where the law firm clients could be able to park, and all of those will be monitored too. So that being one of safety too. And just with us being committed to this neighborhood, we never stopped doing that since we have been here since 1964. So, and we've tried and to be with the community in this neighborhood and helping and bringing services to everyone. This is just another aspect of us bringing services into the community. We have done blood drives. We have one coming up. We have had anywhere from Boy Scouts. We have had coming in. We have had computer teaching, computer literacy, GED classes, dancing, all of these things for our neighbors as well. And also our food pantry that has been helping this community for years. So this is just one more aspect in that helping put our foot into the neighborhood and providing services for them.
30
So,
Robin, that is a 3-minute mark, but if the chairman
sorry.
has to continue, that's okay.
Thank you. That's all I have.
I was about to say that, Evan. Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you,
sir.
Robin. Let me take Chester Deans next. And Sierra, we'll get to you next, okay? Chester, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes, sir.
Would you raise your right hand, sir?
Yes, sir.
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Chester A. Deans Jr. I'm at 128 Evans Lane, St. Louis, Missouri, 63121.
Okay, what would you like to?
Much of it has already been said. Union Memorial United Methodist Church is a beacon in that neighborhood at 1141 Belt at Bartmer. Our outreach in the community has always been there long before we got to a point of offering the 5501 parsonage to the Gerald Christmas law firm. I myself am the president of Fathers United to raise awareness, and we've, through my program associated with Union Memorial United Methodist Church, we, myself and the pastor and several others, we have walked that community and solicited outreach for them to be and participate in our community resource fairs, as well as offering the church services to them on Sunday. Gerald Christmas Law Firm will be an addition to community outreach. Mr. Christmas and his law firm have a positive reputation in the city, and I think it would be appropriate, as well as, I think it would be more than appropriate to have the law firm come in, because it's already been mentioned, and I'll mention it again, when there are activities in that neighborhood, that reduces, shall we say, any criminal behavior that may come in there. Because there's one thing about that spot, that location, many times cars turn off of Page on Belt, and they realize that there is no entry to other streets there, and then they make a U-turn there. But when there's activity there, the number of cars turning into that area is reduced. So that's what we're supporting, to maintain the well-being of the citizens in that community, the residents, as well as upstanding our church reputation in that neighborhood. And adding Gerald Christmas Law Firm to that would be a positive for their neighborhood. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Mr. Deans. Now I'd like to talk to Sierra. Sierra, would you unmute yourself and be sworn in, please?
Hello.
Hello.
And can you raise your right hand, ma'am? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
My name is Sierra Semrel, and I'm at 5950 Floyd Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63147.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
So I would want to start out just full disclosure. I am the president of the Federation of Block Units, and I'm also the chairwoman of the Civilian Oversight Board of the City of St. Louis. And I've been a member of Union Memorial for nearly 40 years. And I deeply understand the value of concerns raised by the community about traffic, parking, residential character, security, and other potential impacts. This neighborhood and its integrity means so much to me as much as it does to the people that live there. Our goal is to be a partner in preserving what makes this community special while introducing resources that can benefit us all. Our community safety is our top priority. We are committed to implementing measures to ensure secure and harmonious environments, including monitored access and client guidelines that have already been reiterated based on what the law office is offering as far as their services. We are dedicated to transparency and accountability through ongoing communication, community workshops, and just direct point of contact to ensure that everyone's voice is heard in the community. So we want everyone to be a part of this process. As someone who's been a part of this church family for decades, I am personally invested in moving forward together in a way that strengthens our neighborhoods and enhances the value for future generations to come. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any board member have any questions? Thank you. Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal?
Hello? Yes. Yes. Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Which one are you?
Okay. My name is Lenore Nunley.
Well, Lenore, let's get you sworn in first, please.
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, would you state your name and address for me?
Once again, it's Lenore Nunley, and my address is 5742 Etzel Avenue, 63112.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Well, I've been living in this area about 50-something years, and I have attended church at Union Memorial, even though that's not my church. And I think it would be beneficial to the neighborhood to bring in a law firm, and I think that would help the value of properties go up in our neighborhood. People seeing that we're bringing in new businesses, besides, the fast foods, the corner stores and that as well. I just thought it would be a positive attitude. And I had met Mr. Christmas personally, and he seems to be a man of very good integrity. So I would want to support his law firm. Thank you.
Thank you. Any board member have any questions? Thank you, ma'am. Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal?
Me.
Okay, Wanda, would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Wanda Edwards, 7315 Pasadena Boulevard, 2 West, St. Louis, Missouri, 63121.
Okay. Well, Wanda, what would you like to tell us?
I was raised in a neighborhood for over 50 years, one block up from Union Memorial. Now I attend Union Memorial. And I'm very much in support of Mr. Christmas
becoming a part of the neighborhood. I think it would be beneficial for those who live in that neighborhood who can't get to the south side, can't get to Clayton, things like that. That neighborhood, and I'm for it. Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you. Any board member have any questions? Thank you. Is there anyone else in favor of this appeal? Is there anyone in opposition to this appeal?
Yes. Opposition.
Hold on a second. Don't be so aggressive.
I'm sorry. I'm just
Just hold on a
ready.
second. Let's get you sworn in and then you can testify, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Colin?
My name is Cynthia Venerable.
Cynthia, just wait a second.
Okay.
Let's get Colin in here.
Okay, I'm
Ma'am,
sorry.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Cynthia Venerable, 5344 Borman Avenue, Block Captain, and a member of Federation of Block Units.
Okay.
I have so many oppositions to this. A lot of things that were said. First, I want to speak on the fact that most of the people that spoke live in Baden area, live in Northwoods, have no stake other than attending the church as a neighbor, as a guest to our neighborhood. So no one in the area has, I think a couple of people, I think we signed petitions. Roughly 97 to 99% of our area have signed the petition for this not to happen. The alderman has not said that she supports nor against. That was her word. She has not signed anything to say that she supports it. She has not signed anything to say she's against it. She has said that she's not for nor against. So I want to speak on that. Now, the law office, everyone keeps saying that they'll do better. They'll stop this, they'll stop that. They're not the law. They either prosecute or defend people. They have no way of deterring crime, none whatsoever. So let's dismiss that. The parking is not available. The traffic. We have 3 blocked off areas to where they want to open up our area. I've heard that. I've heard citizens say when they go to this pantry that they have across the street that they've been accosted to sign their petition. Our residents went to that meeting and they still said they were against it. We have not heard for that group saying that they've been a part of our neighborhood. Only thing we've gotten from them are these meetings. Nor did they knock on the door, they put it on the door. They did not come and talk to us directly. They wanted us to meet them in their space, which is unacceptable. My other question is, are they using these ARPA funds that were reverted back to update this law firm and use it for this law firm? He's right around the corner. So if we want to use his services, he's on Delmar. We can go there. That's not in our community. It's not in our residence. If he wants to do mixed use, which is on Page, that's what he should do. Leave our area to what it is. All the members that are speaking have no stake in this. They only attend the church, and it's a temporary thing. How does it improve our area? It doesn't. Let's see. Mr. Christmas is always in the news, inviting people to his office for meetings. The news is always following him. That brings more traffic. He's a defense attorney that brings more defendants, to which there's a lot of law enforcement on that block, former law enforcement, that I feel will be a danger, that we shouldn't have to wonder when we come out our door which client we may or may not see. We have people that worked in the jail. I'm a former probation and parole officer, now currently a federal investigator. I don't think we
Yes, sir.
need this.
The heads up, that's the 3-minute warning, all right?
Okay.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in opposition to this appeal?
Myself,
Um,
Kiara Williams. And I'm using City Comparables phone. Sorry about that.
Hold on a second. Other people had had their hands up for a while, so I'm going to call them first, and I'll get back to you, okay?
Thank you.
James Claxton. Unmute yourself, please. There
There,
you go.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we
Hello?
can now. Colin, would you swear him in, please?
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
James Claxton Jr., PE, 5330 Bartmer Avenue, St. Louis, Mo.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Well, first off, I'm a licensed Missouri registered PE. I've been that for 30 years. My issue is that this lot does not meet the parking requirements despite what's been said. Let me pull that up just a second. Okay. Where did it go? Ordinance 18.26.080. You can have an off-street parking for a site if the site is within 150 feet of the proposed parking lot. They had proposed to park on the little small school or the church parking lot, I believe, that both distances exceed 150 feet. One distance is about 400 feet. The other distance is about 325 feet, which exceeds the distance to the parking. On site, they do not have room. They have 7 people that work there, I believe, with the attorneys, it's 7 people, plus you need some visitor parking and handicap parking, at least 2. The standard parking stall is 18 by 22 feet. They do not have the space in the back lot nor in the driveway to park there. If they were going to do parking, it would have to be across the street in that vacant lot, and that vacant lot has to be paved. And that's basically what I got to say. They don't meet 18-.26.080. It's clearly stated in there that they need 150 feet to the from their, it's just leaving their lot to an adjacent lot, and they also do not meet the parking requirement on their lot.
Any board member have any questions? Okay, thank you, Mr. Claxton. I'd like to talk to Brandon Taylor. Brandon, will you be sworn in first, please?
Yep. Sir, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Brandon Taylor at 5447 Bartmer, a couple doors down from me.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
So first and foremost, I would like to say that that church is currently listed as a 501c3 that currently pays about between $24 to $29 in taxes, which also means that it's a residential property. Within that residential property, the community has already spoken that they would like to try to keep that home as a residential property. That church had that ability to sell that property to a middle-class family and has turned down a middle-class family that brings in quite a bit of money that would have brought in economic value to our community. They turned those people down and then decided to try to rent it out to a for-profit company. Now, we also are in agreement with that a law firm would be good for the community. But we also said that the law firm would have been good at Page and Belt, right where it's a business district. So as soon as you're on Page and Belt, there's a corner store right there. There is an office that is upstairs right above that corner store. We believe that that would be revitalizing our community. So a law firm is good, but wrong location. Then on top of it, they also tried to say that they wanted to use that parking lot. Well, they're not really talking about the parking lot that's right behind the building, which is all off the grid. They're talking about that school parking lot, which is a wrong parking that is for that community. So that's not what that's for. So we think that the law firm is good, but that law firm needs to be on Page and Belt at that convenience store because that's a business location. So if he wants to come in, that's fine. But at the same time, that house should also be staying as a residential home and not be restructured as anything else less than, as the city has already opposed it once before. They wanted to push back. And we are also on the side of the city that says, hey, this is what this property is, and we want to keep it that way. And everybody on this particular block, everybody that's right around it, outside of a couple people on this call, and the rest of them don't even live in our community. Half of them live out in North County or somewhere. They don't live on this particular block. They don't understand and see the type of traffic that we deal with every time the law firm wants to open up the food pantry. They're not dealing with that. And on top of it, Mr. Christmas, he's a defense attorney. I think that was already mentioned. If he's a defense attorney, he's going to be bringing in some very questionable people that we necessarily don't want on this block.
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Brandon. Next, I'd like to move on to whoever Samsung SM59 is.
That's me. That's Kiara Williams. I'm Cynthia Venerable's daughter.
Have you already testified?
I have not. That was my mother that testified.
Okay, well then, so you got two numbers here. Are they both you?
No, we just so happen to sound
We
alike.
we sound alike. Unfortunately.
Yeah, but
Okay,
yeah, my
well,
mom's
I
already
want to take
spoken.
one of you on right now. Which one is testified? Has anybody testified?
My mother has already. Cynthia Venerable.
Okay,
I'm Kiara
so
Williams.
let's take you then.
Alrighty.
Let's get you sworn in, please.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Absolutely. Yes.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Kiara Williams, address 5744 Terry Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri 63120.
Okay. What would you like to tell us?
This is for like the church members that spoke so highly of this defense attorney that's supposed to be coming into the neighborhood to bring this business, quote unquote. I'm totally against it, just off the strength that, for the safety of people who already have been serving our community for quite some time, that have had to put criminals behind bars. I am a child that I am an individual that grew up with a mother who was a probation and parole officer for quite some time. And a lot of people that have not been in that field do not know what it's like to be faced with an individual that they've incarcerated. And now you're standing toe to toe with them. I've experienced that. I've experienced that fear, and I do not want to have to experience that fear with my mother being on that block on her. Sorry, not sorry. Another thing, a lot of the church members are explaining or saying that they, are members of the church, but not really members of the community. My mother is the block captain, and she's hosted a block party. And I don't think that I've seen any of those church members at her block party that she hosted for the entire block, for that matter. So I'm against it for that matter as well, because if you're going to be a part of the community, really be a part of the community. Don't just pick and choose and just choose church time just to be a part of the community. And another thing, that it's really a congested area. I don't think it would be a good idea at all, especially considering the apartments that are, adjacent to them. They already have their traffic that comes through. They have to park on the street, so it just wouldn't, do any good for the block overall for him to be in that space. So that's my time there, and that's what I have to say about that.
Okay, any board member have any questions? Thank you. For my gratification or need to know, would people that have their hands up that have testified, would you take them down so I can find the ones that have not testified yet? Okay, is anyone else in opposition to this appeal?
I think there's an Emmett Coleman.
Emmett, would you unmute yourself? Would you be sworn in first, please?
Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
Would you state your name and address for me, please?
Emmett Coleman, 5802 Barmer Avenue, St. Louis, Missouri, 63110.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Okay. So, I know Attorney Christmas. I think he does good work. I also know two of the proponents that said they're in favor of this variance, Maxine and Josh. Although Maxine lives very close to our neighborhood, Josh is the only one out of that whole group of individuals who actually live within 350 feet of this property. I just want that to be noted in this evidence that, there's one person that actually will or might be affected by this project that's a proponent of this project. I just want to reiterate, okay, that there are several neighbors, again, and I think Cynthia mentioned this before. There's several neighbors within 350 feet of this property that are past or current law enforcement, or some type, corrections officers, some type of enforcement that deal with people who are facing criminal litigation, people who have been convicted of criminal activity or criminal convicted, whether it's misdemeanors or felonies, they've been convicted of criminal misdoings. So that being said, I mean, if there's neighbors that live around there who fear that, where they live, where they lay their head every night, somebody might see them and have some type of ill intentions, I mean, that's a good enough reason to consider their opposition. I mean, just think about yourself. If you dealt with certain people and certain clientele, and all of a sudden, somebody wants to put a business where, let's say an enemy or somebody who might dislike you for some reason, who might potentially do bodily harm to you, you think that you would want to put a business that might create that type of interaction close enough to you and your family, where you lay your head every night? I mean, that's just ridiculous. And I think if they're uncomfortable with having this here because of, I mean, it's obvious reasons. It's not like it's way far-fetched. I mean, come on now. We see people get retaliate against judges. We see people retaliate against law enforcement. We see people retaliate against, different people for different reasons, right? So why would you even entertain the possibility of something popping off or something happening? That's just ridiculous. And another thing, and I think Brandon said something too. He's a neighbor. He lives right there. He can look out his front window and see that house. And he was talking about the lack of tax benefit because, I mean that's a single family home that should be rehabbed and remain a single family home and we don't even get the tax benefits because the church still owns it. They're not for profit. So what tax benefit are we getting? What's the value add for this for being right there in that space? There's a school that's empty that's also owned by the church that's right catty corner to this property. Why that wouldn't necessarily need a variance? So why the home that needs a variance over a school that's sitting there vacant that's already zoned commercial? I mean, it makes no sense in this particular instance. And like I said, I don't have anything against Attorney Christmas because like I said, I know him and I think he does very good work. But we have to think about this. After the first denial, I mean, why? To alleviate people's crime concerns or concerns dealing with any type of retaliation, any type of interaction. I mean, why isn't the idea of bringing in any type of private hire security for these particular 2 blocks of Bartmer? Why hasn't that even been considered or mentioned, or that idea hadn't even been thrown out or thrown about, to even alleviate these concerns? I mean, that's a simple. That's simple. Like, okay, if people have safety concerns, why not hire private security? I mean, it's just a cost of doing business, that it should have even been squashed. Like, we shouldn't even have to go through this. These are the things that we had to deal with another variance request in our neighborhood, our same exact neighborhood, your same exact board from what I see, dealt with that issue. That building's still sitting there with broken windows. Nothing's ever been improved on that site at Cook School. And we're now, again, talking about the same thing in neighborhood concerns. And we act like we're going to hit our head on the same tree. We're not hitting our head on the same tree. I mean, that's insanity. You're going to keep doing the same thing and expect a different result. That's insanity, you know? So that's all I had to say about it. I know I'm probably within my 3 minutes, but I mean, it's just, come on now, we got to get better. I mean, we can't keep doing the same thing, expecting to improve our city and improve our neighborhood. That's just ridiculous. We're going to become dinosaurs. And you see it on our population trends. This is why, because we keep doing the same thing and we keep expecting different results and not coming together to something that's viable and sustainable. It's just ridiculous. Thank you.
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, Emmett. Let's take Michelle Perry. Would you unmute yourself, please? Michelle, are you here?
Yes.
Oh, there you are. Would you unmute yourself and be sworn in, please?
I still see her as muted.
Yeah, I see her too. Michelle, can you unmute yourself, please? There you go.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for working with me. Now, I might have missed my opportunity. I am not.
Michelle, hold it. You got to be sworn in first, please, okay?
Okay.
Ma'am, do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Okay, would you state your name and address for me, please?
My name is Michelle Perry Williams. I live at 5673 Caveney, 63112.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
Okay, I would like to say, first of all, I did not speak when my church members spoke because they pretty much summed up everything I said, but I heard the opposition say there were not people present that lived in the area. So I live on Caveney, which is 4 blocks from the church. I've been in that church for 20 years. My family has been in our home for over 65. I've had the privilege of being in the company of attorneys, as my husband was an attorney and all my friends were
I'm sorry,
politicians.
this isn't her time. We all had to wait according
Well, I
to.
wait. That's fine. I'll do what they say.
Chairman, do you realize this is for in favor?
Yeah, I think she missed her chance, but
I could have, and I will concede to that. I'm just saying I'm in support of them coming, and I am a member,
Okay.
and I live in the community, and I can shut down now.
Okay, thank you.
Attorneys are not criminals, and no, their presence won't stop it, but their presence will deter it. Thank you. I'm finished.
Okay.
Crime.
Any questions from any board member? Thank you, Michelle. Next, I'd like to take another Samsung SM whatever. I don't know who it is. Would you unmute yourself?
Hello?
Hello. Would you be sworn in first, please?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Would you state your name and address, please?
Jacqueline Gonzalez, 5802 Bartmer.
Okay. What would you like to tell us?
I'm in opposition of this. Everybody's already pretty much said anything. I'm concerned for the law enforcement that lives around there. I am also aware of that the church did have an offer on that home. It needs to stay a single family home. It's smack dab in the middle of a neighborhood. There are plenty of business places on Page and around that they can rent or buy and update and make that up. There's so many places on Page that need upgrading. They could buy that and make something nice on Page. The school is also owned by the church. They're sitting on that. That could become something very neat. And like I said, it just doesn't belong in our neighborhood. And I do think that Mr. Christmas is a great attorney, but I would just rather see him practice on Page or somewhere else in our neighborhood. That would be perfect. Thank you.
Any board member have any questions? Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in opposition to this appeal? Hearing none. Evan, I may have to have you read the exhibits again.
Sure. We enter the following exhibits. Exhibit A, certified copy of the zoning ordinance. Exhibit B, appeal to the board. Exhibit C, basis for denial. Exhibit D, meeting notice letter. Exhibit E, city journal public notices. Exhibit F, photographs. Exhibit G, Sanborn maps. Exhibit H, memo from Planning and Urban Design. Exhibit I, letter of support from Daryl F. Grimes, CEO of Better Family Life, Inc. Exhibit J, owner's statement for building permit issued with zoning hold submitted by petitioner. Exhibit K, total of 38 signatures of those in opposition submitted by Cynthia Venerable. Exhibit L, copy of proceedings from May 15th, 2024. Exhibit M, meeting notice letter for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit N, city journal public notices for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit O, photographs for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit P, Sanborn maps for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit Q, memo from Planning and Urban Design for January 8th, 2025. Exhibit R, letter of opposition submitted by Cynthia Venerable on behalf of the community of Bartmer Avenue and Central West End. Exhibit S, letter of concern to Reverend Bell and other parties of interest submitted by Cynthia Venerable on behalf of the community of Bartmer Avenue and Central West End. Exhibit T, signed petition submitted by the petitioner. Exhibit U, email letter of support from Sierra L. Simril, president of the Federation of Blocks Units, ULSTL. Exhibit V, email letter of support from Joshua and Tamika Steigers, sorry. Exhibit W, letter of support from Charlene Williams Moore. Exhibit X, letter of support from Reginald Perry. And Exhibit Y, email letter of support from Aaron Gines Jr.
And I'll consider this case as having been heard, and the Board of Adjustment is in recess. Anybody need a break?
I'm gonna log off. You guys don't need me anymore.
Thanks,
Bye, Colin. Have a good one. Everybody ready, or what are we doing?
Ready.
Okay, let's talk about appeal number 20562.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
before we get started, just a reminder that Mr. Robinson recused himself from Appeal 11928. So he can participate in all of the other appeals. He will just not be able to vote on that, and you will not be able to ask him questions when you're discussing 11928.
Okay.
Correct.
Anthony,
Okay.
when we get to that, put a cork in it, okay? You cannot talk.
I'm not worried about him. I'm worried about you asking questions.
Nah. Nah, not me. Okay, let's talk about appeal number 20562, which is the Fernando's Grocery Restaurant.
They need to go back and talk to the neighborhood and the alder person. I just don't see that working in the middle of the block like that.
This
Oh,
is
no,
not
I'm
the
sorry.
one in the middle.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry.
This is a convenience store with liquor sales.
Again,
On Spring Avenue.
Well, it's not like the alderman doesn't get a notice about this. If they had a problem with it, they would have sent a letter. Just a thought.
You would definitely hope. But the question is whether or not they even notice it.
But they don't read their mail. They have an
No.
assistant.
Right? They did get letters from us, right?
Yeah. There's a sign up. The neighborhood didn't speak out against it. It's in a commercial area. It looked like there was a quick shop there prior.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve with all the conditions that we normally put on it, except we'll allow them to sell 5% alcohol, which is what they asked for, no cooking, and all the other things that our person read for us that we normally put on there.
What about hours of operation?
I didn't write it down.
9 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Monday through
Thank you.
Saturday.
Saturday.
That's my motion.
Okay, it's moved by Mona. Can
I'll
she
second.
get a second?
I'll
Okay.
second it.
It's moved by Mona, seconded by Mel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Findings?
Won't be a detriment as conditioned.
Okey-dokey. Moving on, appeal number 11892. This is Mall House.
Before we talk about this one, can I make sure I have the variance down right? I have
Yes,
this
ma'am.
down as a use and an area variance.
You
The
only had a
residential in the
use.
J
One use
and
two
the
areas.
parking.
It's two area variances and one use.
Okay.
variance. Use for the residential, parking, not enough for the totality of the uses, and then bicycle parking wasn't shown at the time of their application.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. My only concern here is if at some point in the future they don't get the back parking lot, or use of the back parking lot, or purchase the back parking lot, whatever it may be, is that the residents won't have any parking because the parking will be taken up by all the other entities that are going to be involved there, which are the restaurants, the banquet center, and I'm okay with all of that. I just think that he should designate parking for the residents.
So Mona, you
So-
understand that the reason
I do.
the appeal could not cite a parking issue is because they're in J. You're talking about the parking for the residential, and residential is not allowed in J. So there's really no way to calculate that. You could put a condition on there if the board chose to do that, that they have to have so many spaces dedicated. But if you're going to do that, you probably are going to want them to dedicate the spots and sign it. Otherwise, if you ever wanted us to investigate that, we would really have no way of telling.
That is my point. I do want it to, that's my suggestion, is that we have them dedicate the parking for the residential 1-to-1.
Here's the problem,
So-
Mona. Apartments that I have done, they meet the parking requirements, but the landlord or the owner of the development will charge them $50 a month to park in it. And they have a choice. Then they'll park on the street and the parking doesn't get used. It's
That's exactly what
Developers
happened
had
on
a
the
challenge.
project you did in our neighborhood.
That's
the rules.
that's really not my issue. Honestly, I don't care. If they want to have a parking attendant out there and they know that these 3 parking spots are not rented, then they can deal with that on their own. But the majority of people, if they come in and there's not a parking spot on the street and they don't have the back parking lot, they're going to struggle.
So I'm in agreement with Mona. I think, and it sounds like Mona wants to actually make a motion.
Sure, I do.
And
I'll make a motion
and
because
I would,
the developer is not opposed to it.
yeah, I think I agree with you. I think I think the residential needs, because that's what they are here for, the residential parking needs to be required, and it needs it needs to be required at 1-to-1. And in addition to that, I think that it should also be marked as such, so that others can't park there.
So, I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion to approve with designated parking for the residential units. And
Second.
I don't think there's anything else.
So
I'm
do
happy
you
the
want to
building's
say
getting
how many-
developed.
Excuse me. Do you want to say how many parking spaces?
17.
17.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Moved by Mona, seconded by Anthony. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All those opposed? Aye. Moving on. Appeal number 11893. This is the,
I have a thought about this.
Guys, we need findings
I
for the
didn't
last
get
one.
the findings
findings for
from
the last one.
11892.
Wait a minute. Everybody, you got
time out.
stop.
I'm sorry,
Findings
that's my
on the last
mistake.
one.
Won't be a detriment as conditioned.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Sorry about that, Mary.
That was my fault. And then moving on to 11893.
Couple thoughts on that was, I don't believe whether they talk to the alderman, they talk to the neighborhood association, they are not going to gain support on this.
Nope.
This is, in my opinion, a bad location for this. It's in the middle of a block. The neighborhood association is already against it. The city is not in keeping with it. That
How do you
thing
put a
that-
bar on a rooftop?
Oh my God, in the middle of a residential neighborhood.
I don't know what they were thinking.
They saw an opportunity and they weren't thinking. They just saw a lot that they could build what they wanted on it.
I hope so. They haven't bought it yet. So
I honestly, I don't think we even need to send this back. I think we can make this decision on our own. This is not something that we need to waste any more time on, in my opinion. That's just the discussion I wanted to open up.
Well, I allowed the discussion because my motion was going to be no right off the bat.
Me too.
all right,
Oh,
so I'll
it's a
make the
terrible
motion to
idea.
uphold. I'll make the motion to uphold the building commissioner. Is that the way it do it, Mary?
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm making the motion to uphold the building commissioners.
I'll second. Moved by Mel, seconded by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? No findings, right?
Correct.
Okay. Moving on. This is shut up,
I'm
Anthony.
not a fan of this one at all.
I am recusing myself on this agenda item.
Okay. This is 11928. And I have what, some area variances or which is it?
It's
There's all setbacks or whatever around the
two area variances. Yeah, I have no problem with this. I was just teasing. It makes sense. It's already there. What we gonna do? Put a kitchen in? Sounds good to me.
It's already. This has been a place to live all along. So you
Right.
want to make it, Mona? You want to make it, or you want me to?
Sure. Go ahead, Mel.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second. Moved by Mel, second by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finding?
Will not be a detriment will not be a detriment. Period.
Okay. Moving on to
Okay, Anthony, you can unrecruit yourself.
Thanks, Mel.
welcome back.
Thank you.
Appeal number 11837. This is
Kentucky.
the Kentucky.
I have no problem with this one either.
No, they've already built a couple down there.
Avenue thing.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Alderman's on board. Park Central's on board.
Go ahead. Mona.
I'll make a
Right,
to
no
approve.
Second.
I'll second. Moved by Mona, seconded by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Findings?
Oh, should be an asset.
Okay.
I just had to throw an asset in there somewhere.
You always have to get that in there somewhere, don't you?
First asset of the year.
Okay, moving on to 20453, correct?
Right.
Yes,
And
sir.
I'm the one that put them back to the neighborhood. I think I'm the one.
Mhm.
I would, the way they have it right now, I would not have a problem with this. I would say to go ahead and I will approve it, as long as they don't, like I said, no outside storage. That's what the neighborhood was. They had a 40-yard dumpster. That's what they had before. They have a dumpster in there for their trash, but they didn't want it. They didn't want 40-yard dumpster in there. They didn't want, their backhoes and
Okay.
stuff like that.
So, Mr. Desimone, is your
Yes.
motion that you want them to have no outside storage?
I think that's what it is, isn't it? That's the way we're
Because
supposed
they
to.
made an application for inside and outside storage of tools. If you want to make that motion,
Tools,
that's
okay, yeah.
fine. But I would suggest that you make the motion that they have to revise their application to not include the outside storage. Does that make sense?
Yeah, to inside and outside storage of tools, construction materials and tractors.
But Mary,
Construction
can
materials.
I ask a question? Just because they ask for it doesn't mean we give it to them. If we don't
I
give it to them,
understand that, Mona,
I'm
but
just
what
asking
I'm
a
getting,
question, Mary.
right,
Is,
I'm trying to give you the answer.
let me
Okay,
finish.
so they've made an application that states that they want outside storage. If the board is going to grant the application, they need to ask them to, they need to amend this application. Otherwise, it gets granted and the application still says outside storage on it. It's a paperwork cleanup.
But see, that's what the neighborhood was arguing about. They did not want to see all the storage back there. They did not want to see tractors.
Correct.
And
So that's why I'm saying if
so,
you
I mean, they
approve
showed me a
this-
picture today. They said, "Oh, everything's gone," but they give us the indication that everything's gone and it's not there. But yet their application says they want to have that there. So
because they've never come in and amended the application
then they
from
need to come
when
in.
they
They need to
originally
come
made
in.
it.
Then
So
they need
that's
to
why-
come in. I'll make the motion they amend or whatever it takes to. They have to.
Okay, if somebody will please listen to me, I think we can get the motion down. Is everybody done? Okay, so if you're making a motion and you want to grant this, one of your conditions needs to be that they amend their application to not include the outside storage. And then you can put any of the other conditions you want on there too, but you just want to make sure that you make it a requirement that they come in and amend the application. Otherwise, if all you do is vote on it to approve it, what's written on the application is what's going to get approved. And right now it says outside storage. So I just want to make sure
That's what the way you said it is what I was trying to say.
so we want them to amend. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I want. That's my motion.
Okay. Any other conditions besides taking the outside storage
No.
off of there?
No, and the hours of operations per their testimonies, Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sundays, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
So, quick clarity question for me, Mary. I mean, the variance request is for outside storage. So if they remove it from their application, is it just they're just coming back for a conditional use?
Was the out so they don't have to come back for a conditional use? The board can grant a conditional use.
Right. So they'll be, but if they amend the application, they're coming back to us, correct?
No,
No,
they won't come back, Evan.
they're
So-
amending it as part of the board's action. It's
Okay.
not like the board is tabling it.
That's
This
why I
is
wanted
part
clarity.
of the board's action is for them to amend it. So they'll have to come, the board, if the board votes on this, I have the board voting to approve it with a condition that they amend the application to not include the outside storage, and then with the hours as stated. Then the staff will not be able to approve the permit or release the permit until they actually come in and amend it.
Okay.
Is that clear? I just want to make sure we don't have any problem. Thanks.
I got it.
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
It's moved by Mel, seconded by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Findings, Mel?
I don't think it'll be detriment as conditioned if I'm correct.
As conditioned, not a detriment.
Well, I don't know how to say that. You know, it's like,
Well, you have two choices. Your finding is either it's an asset or it's not a detriment.
not a detriment.
That's it. There's nothing to make up. Okay, thank you.
As conditioned.
As conditioned, yes, I got that.
Okay.
Okay.
Moving on, folks. Let's go to appeal number 20526.
My thought on this is that they're taking housing away. There is a national housing shortage. There is a housing shortage in St. Louis. And we should keep him to a commercial entity.
There's
And
no basis along page to do what he wants to do.
I get why he wants to put it there. It's a beautiful building. Why not have a prestigious, beautiful building as your law office? I understand the want.
So what is your motion, Yona?
My motion is to uphold the building commissioner.
And I will second it.
Moved by Mona, seconded by Mel. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. So it passes 4-1.
Failed. Or, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
passed.
passes.
Right.
Mona, you got any, what are your findings?
You don't need it. It's
There's no
failed.
finding
No,
on
you
that.
finding,
failed.
I know.
Okay, never mind. Sorry. Any other business, Mary?
Yeah, the minutes. I move to accept the minutes of December 18th, 2024.
I'll second. It was moved by Irene, seconded by me. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Any other business, Mary?
I have no new business for you. Just a reminder that we do have a meeting next week.
Oh man, this is getting tiring. Oh, oh my goodness! All those
You
times
probably
when I
don't
post
have
every
to
other
be the
week and never
chairman
doing
next
it every
week,
week.
so
Goodness
you'll get a
gracious.
little break.
Just kidding. I enjoy being here. Any other things from anybody?
Nope.
Happy New Year.
Make a
See
motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
It was moved
Who
by
made-
me, seconded by
Oh.
what? Okay.
Did you make the motion, Mr. Klitzing?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, and I
Okay.
seconded it.
It was
Thank
moved by
you.
Mel, seconded by Mel. And I make a motion that we all adjourn and go home.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. See you next week.
See ya.
Yeah, have a good
Okay.
day.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye now.